So on July 6th, we got the story about Patton Oswalt, the comedian slash actor. He got engaged again, and it instantly reminds you of how his wife just died a little over a year ago. And if you've been following my blog, I was talking about how she died on the same day that Prince, the singer, died. And his death was connected to multiple events all throughout last year. It was connected to the NBA Finals. LeBron James even dressed up as Prince earlier in that year for Halloween and whatnot. And then Kevin Love was Jackie Moon, and Prince died on the night of a full moon. He died on the 112th day of the year. And then we had the 112th World Series that came to an end on November 2nd, 11/2. Much more going on with it. You know, The Simpsons even killed Prince on an episode that came out on 11/2. And him dying on the night of a full moon. The Indians hadn't been in the World Series since 1948, which was when we got the last closest supermoon since the year 2017 as well. It was also the year of the greatest American election upset since this year, with Donald Trump upset Hillary Clinton and whatnot. But just pointing out, she died on the same day as Prince, and now we're getting the story of him getting remarried just days after we got the story of Prince's drummer dying. If I can find that post here. We got the story of John Blackwell Jr. dying at age 43, who was Prince's drummer. So pretty interesting. We get the story in regards to Patton Oswalt right after we get another story in regards to something connected to Prince. So anyway, if you don't know what I'm going to talk about in this video and you're new, go to the video link description right now. Check out the how-to gematria video that I'm going to leave there. A 15-minute video. It will explain a lot better of what I'm talking about, how I'm coming up with what I am talking about in this video, and a lot more of why. It's basically gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, and it's used in everyday mainstream media. It is used to script the sports leagues. I mean, they're all scripted. So, and right here is a great example. So it's something that I never realized before last year in regards to the NBA Finals, because I didn't know about the reverse method of gematria. And I showed why, they use the reverse method. Basically, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, but the reverse method would be Z is 1, Y is 2, and so on, all the way up to 26. And they love doing this type of stuff. As above, so below. And I even showed how the word God equals 55 in reverse, and heaven equals 55 in the regular way, and God the small way equals 17, and hell the small way in reverse equals 17. And this all stems back to God. It's all based on, it's all based on God, and that's, if you look up Kabbalah, you'll understand more of what I'm saying. So when I re-looked his wife up, I can't even think of her name, something Manera, but I looked her up and I noticed that it says that Oswalt announced that he had been working to complete McNamara's nonfiction book on the Golden State Killer, which was left unfinished at the time of her death. So last year when she died, she was writing a book called The Golden State Killer, and then the Golden State loses in the NBA Finals to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And look at this in gematria. The Golden State Killer, and the reverse reduced equals 111, and then just reverse equals 318. Cleveland Cavaliers, and the reverse reduced equals 111, and they equal 318 in reverse. I mean, they were telling you with the story, the Golden State Killer, they were telling you Golden State was going to lose, and they were even telling you who they were going to lose to, the Cleveland Cavaliers, because they have identical gematria. The NBA Finals in the regular way even equals 111. And the day that Prince died, April 21st, last year was a leap year, so it was the 112th day of the year. In a non-leap year, it would be the 111th day of the year. I also thought it was interesting that the CNN article, it shows his new fiance and him at the premiere of Preacher Season 2. And as far as I know, he's not in that show, and neither is she. So, I could be wrong. I just didn't see it when I looked them both up. But just interesting, if you've been following my videos and my blog, I've been talking a whole lot about the Catholic priests in my own life and the Jesuits, and also, just stuff in regards to that. So now they're at the Preacher thing, the Preacher premiere. Seems pretty strange. And then in regards to all of that, I've been mentioning this number 102, how in a roundabout way, everything keeps coming back to the number 102. And then the CNN article even tells us that in his grieving process, Oswalt has been open about his grieving process, writing a number of moving essays about coping with loss, blah, blah, blah. And then he says, it's 102 days later, and I can confidently say I have reached the point where I'm crawling, which objectively is an improvement. He wrote in an emotionally raw Facebook post last August. Maybe 102 days later, I'll be walking. So they put emphasis in the story on the number 102, and then they show them at the Preacher premiere, which is just interesting. It's something that I have been talking about, something to do with priests and the number 102. He even announced, or whatever, that he was going to be finishing his wife's book, The Golden State Killer, 102 days after his wife died, on August 1st. And August 1st is an interesting date in regards to Pope Francis. This year, the Jesuit anniversary is 81 days before Pope Francis's 81st birthday. And think about August 1st, 8-1. The real reason for sure that they put emphasis on 102 is if you write out 102, it equals 67. If you write out Patton Oswalt, it equals 67 in the reverse reduced. And the day that we got the story was July 6th, which in most parts of the world, they write the date 6/7. And if you go to the death of the Prince's drummer, there was a whole bunch of stuff in regards to 67. He even died 67 days before his birthday, and he was battling a brain tumor that equals 67. And if you recall, Vanity, who was Prince's protege or whatever, she died 67 days before Prince last year, and Prince's birthday on 6/7. So just interesting how these two stories even coincide with the number 67. Patton Oswalt equals 67. His wife dies on the same day as Prince, and then we get the story just after the death of Prince's former drummer and whatnot. I also pointed out that the day we got this story was on July 6th, which can also be written 7/6, and it's 76 days after the 1-year anniversary of his wife dying. 1 year, 76 days, a lot like 176. Patton Oswalt, the big way, equals 176. And last year, when his wife died, they were telling us that he was famous for the TV show The King of Queens, that equals 176. And I even documented on my previous post how his first comedy album was this one, the live one, but the actual studio one or whatever, not the live version, was called The Feelin' Kinda Patton, that equals 176. And I never noticed before about his first album here, Patton Oswalt 222. It came out on the Jesuit anniversary in 2003, And I'm talking about all these Jesuit stuff. They show him at the Preacher premiere. Who knows? Maybe I didn't look hard enough. Maybe he is in that TV show or whatever. Maybe that other lady is. Even so, it just seems strange. They would, there's a ton of other things they could show him at a premiere of. Also, the day the story came out was July 6th, the 187th day of the year. Society of Jesus in the reverse way equals 187. And if you go from the birthday of his wife, which was on April 14th, to the day this story came out, it was a span of 2 months, 22 days. I just found that interesting in regards to his first album being called Patton Oswalt 222. The CNN article also shows us the tweet of his new fiance, and she, was making a joke about Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, being on her finger or whatever, The Rock. If you read out his full name in gematria, Dwayne Douglas Johnson, it equals 84, like the word Jesuit. And it also equals 102, the big way with the S exception. And if you just read out rock, just interesting, if you read out the word rock, then satanic gematria equals 187, just like Society of Jesus. It was also interesting that she was born on Pi Day, 3/14. There's something super significant in regards to Pi this year as well. I've talked about the space theme and how it's interrelated into the Jesuit theme. We had the death of Eugene Cernan on January 16th, and his birthday was also Pi Day. Also, if you go from Pi Day to the Jesuit anniversary, it's a span of 197 days. The word prince in Jewish gematria equals 197. 197 is an interesting number because it's the 45th prime number as well. And then, we have Donald Trump, the 45th president, and Mike Pence, also born on 6/7, June 7th. And so I believe his name in gematria even equals 45. Mike Pence. Actually, we'll look it up really quick. Mike Pence equals 45. Also 81. Interesting. But let's go back here. I'm going to talk about something in a second, too, in regards to baseball. That's why I had 45 wins written in here. 45 wins. All the teams minus the Astros that I've been talking about in regards to the Jesuit theme. The Astros are connected to the space stuff, but not the Jesuit stuff, as far as I know, other than them winning 19-1 the other day against the Blue Jays. But the only teams that have 45 wins right now at the All-Star break are all three of the teams that I've talked about. The Yankees, the Twins, and the Angels. So, and interesting, if you write out 45 wins, it equals 191, just like if you write out Society of Jesus. But I'll get to that in a few minutes here. Let's roll through this post. So I looked up this lady. I've never really heard of her, but it says that she got best known for the film The Journey of Natty Gann. And notice, this film came out on the Jesuit anniversary in 1985, And thinking about Prince and Prince's huge connection to Minnesota, and I've mentioned how Minnesota Twins equals 84, just like Jesuit in the reverse method. So they equal 84 in reverse. Jesuit equals 84. Prince super connected to the Minnesota. The last time that they won the World Series was in 1991. If you write out the Society of Jesus, it equals 91 in the reverse reduced method. The Twins also won the 84th World Series in 1980 or 1991. 1987. They won the one in 91, which was the 88th World Series. And I also find it interesting, there was a twin theme that I was following a tiny bit way back in February or so, or, we had Beyonce, had the twins and whatnot. My girlfriend was pregnant, had a miscarriage, supposedly pregnant with twins. We had the story of the two astronauts, the twin astronauts, and they did a study on how they felt when one of them was in space and the other one wasn't and whatnot. So just interesting, there is a twin theme that kind of is interrelated in there. And I just haven't been talking about it because it really hasn't been coming up that much. But I still was talking about it. It's one of the, 5 or 6 little mini themes that I've been talking about that's interrelated into a couple bigger ones. The Twins, then, they lost to the Tigers 88 days before the 88th World Series. Something that I was looking up last year. There was a whole bunch of interesting connections that many days before that certain World Series. For example, last year, the Indians, I can't remember if they lost or won, but the score was 1-12. I believe they won. 1-12, 112 days before the 112th World Series. Another one I can think of off the top of my head is the 109th World Series, 109 days before the 109th World Series that the Boston Red Sox won in 2013. They beat Los Angeles or whatever. Los Angeles equals 109. They won 9-7, on the 97th day of the Major League Baseball season. So they beat a team that equals 109 days before the 109th World Series. So there's just a couple I can think of off the top of my head. But, you know, now we have the Twins lost to the Tigers 88 days before the 88th World Series. Tigers equal 84 in reverse. The Twins that year finished the season with 95 wins, and they beat the Braves in the World Series. Braves equal 95. The Jesuit anniversary is on the day that leaves 95 days in the year. And the Twins beat the Blue Jays 84 days before the 84th World Series. Blue Jays also equal 95. And then the Twins then beat the 95-win St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series or whatever. So there's something significant with 95 in regards to the Twins winning the World Series. And 95 is a number connected to the Jesuits. I just talked about how it's connected to pi. Pi equals 95 in satanic gematria. You know, in regards to the Jesuits too, what I was talking about in the Red Sox one with 2000 and 2013 was the Asiana Flight 214 that happened on the 187th day of the year even. And that was 109 days before the 109th World Series or whatever. But we also had the Boston bombing that year, and Dzhokhar Tsarnaev equals 191. And that happened 191 days before the World Series began. Connected, you know, Society of Jesus equals 191. So just something interesting to point out in regards to the Boston Red Sox in 2013. I also put in here Super Bowl 26 was on 1/26 of 92, and it was 91 days after the Twins won the World Series in 1991. And the Super Bowl was also held in Minnesota that year. And then this year, the Super Bowl is going to be held in Minnesota, Super Bowl 52. So who knows? I mean, who knows if they would do it that way again, but, you know, interesting that they won the World Series and then the Super Bowl was held in Minnesota just after that. So let's look at the death of this guy here, John Blackwell Jr., before I end the video, but he died at the age of 43, but, you know, he was Prince's drummer. Prince equals 38. Minnesota equals 38. Chanhassen equals 38. Lots of 38 in regards to Prince's death, but the word drummer equals 38. So he's Prince's drummer. Drummer equals 38. Prince 38. Minnesota 38. And he also died on 7/4, which is exactly 74 days after the 1-year anniversary of Prince dying. And he died age 43. And the word drummer in the reverse reduced equals 43. So super connected. I talked about all these 67s before. I also pointed out that he died 113 days with the end date before the 113th World Series begins. And he was also born on 9/9, the day that leaves 113 days in the year. And his name equals 57, just like World Series. So his death, I don't have it figured out yet, but I guarantee it's connected to the World Series in some roundabout way, just because of all these connections to 113, and then World Series equals the same as his name. I also pointed out that, what is going on? I'm not even touching my trackpad, but I also pointed out that him dying age 43 was interesting because the Twins played the Angels that day, and the score was even 4-5, right? And what I'm talking about is the teams that I've been talking about are the Yankees, the Twins, and on my blog I mentioned the Angels because of all this Angel Michael, Angel Gabriel stuff that I have been talking about. And they're the only teams, even, you know, in the whatever, the National and American League, the only team right now, teams that have 45 wins, the Angels, the Twins, and the Yankees. And how interesting is that, that the day that that guy died, the Angels lost 4-5 to the Minnesota Twins, and they both stayed on 43 wins. Then Minnesota got their 43rd win. The Angels stayed on 43 wins. That guy died at age 43. If you write out Los Angeles Angels, it equals 85 in the reverse reduced method. If you write out Prince's drummer, it equals 85 in the reduced method. Twins equal 85. And he also died 439 days after Prince, which is the 85th prime number. And this, I don't know, that makes me think about Boston as well. Boston equals 85. Red Sox equal 85. Well, let me check really quick. I'm pretty sure. Boston 85. Red Sox 85. I don't know. Something to think about, I guess. I never even put that together until now, but But, alright, well, moving on. Like I said, I'm just documenting things. I don't know for sure what I fully think, you know. So, it's so connected to what I'm talking about, though. It's just craziness. But, anyway, also with this guy, on the article, TMZ gave us a video of Prince from 2002 on Jay Leno. And that was the year the Angels won the World Series, was 2002. And they advanced to the World Series by beating the Twins. So, who knows, you know, it's just crazy. Jay Leno equals 82, you know. The Everlasting Now equals 82. I mean, it's just how these things work. Jay Leno 82, the song they're promoting on the Jay Leno show, equals 82. The 82nd prime is also 421 is the 82nd prime. Prince died on 421. He even had the song I Would Die For You, right? 4, like the number, and then he wrote U, like the letter, U, the 21st letter, 421. Then he dies on 421. Oh, the odds. So then I just mentioned how would be interesting if the Angels made the World Series, because I've been talking about the Angel Gabriel, the Angel Michael. Gabriel equals 54, just like baseball. Like I said, I don't really know, but I'm trying to piece this puzzle together. I don't know. So, I think that's all I had in these two posts. It's just interesting. They're both, you know, connected together. So, whatever. Leaving it at that. Have a good one. Peace.